Call this meeting. Records show that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. The time is now 6 o'clock. Priscilla, a roll call.
All board members are present.
Dr. Gibson.
Thank you, President Westbrook and guests and staff. Tonight we're honored to have Madison Rogers, a fourth grader from Rose Garden Elementary, and Christina Cuclarete from Dobie Junior High. I think that was pretty close, to lead us in our pledge. We're going to hear from their principals real quickly. Everybody just remain seated, those that can sit, and then we'll call for everybody to rise for the pledge.
Ward. I am principal at Rose Garden Elementary, and I would like to introduce you to our student, Madison Rogers, who is in fourth grade. She is an outstanding student that exhibits high standards for herself in academics and is one of our highest performing fourth grade students. Madison's academic performance and persevering attitude will take her far in life. Madison exemplifies self-motivation as far as traits of a graduate go, because she possesses and practices grit and perseverance with real-world skills and is driven by a sense of purpose. She achieves high levels no matter what conditions are out of her control. She's truly an example to all of us, to not make excuses and to always do your best. Her favorite subject is reading, and in her free time, she enjoys playing with her baby brother and reading. She's joined tonight by many who find her inspirational. Her teacher, Miss Pettis, please stand. Her CIS social worker, Miss Joanna Wold. And her entire foster family, please stand and be recognized. This is Madison.
Good evening, members of the board, President Westbrook, and Superintendent Dr. Gibson. I am Vernon Simmons, principal at Dobie Junior High. I would like to introduce to you our student, Christina Cuclarete, who is an 8th grade student. She is a cheerleader and an 8th grade honor roll student. Christine, I thought I was loud enough. Christina's teachers love having her in class. She is a joy and she is an outstanding student. The trait of a graduate that she exemplifies is self-motivated because she is a dedicated student who knows what she needs to be successful. She puts her best effort forward in everything she does. Her favorite subject is math, and she enjoys cheerleading and hanging out with her friends. She is joined by her parent, Diana Cuclarete. Please stand and be recognized. And she has a little sister. I didn't get to the little sister. Megan. Christina will be leading us in the pledges this evening. So can you please stand?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming. It's almost the summertime, I'm sure. How many parents out there? Everybody's ready for the summertime, huh? Nobody seems excited about that. This month is National Salsa Month, but we'll let that one go by. I think that's important to me because I love my foodie. That's very important. But Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Appreciation Month, so if there's any people of that ethnicity, I do appreciate your, have a great month. Thank you very much for showing up. We have a long schedule, and enjoy. Let's see. Vice Presidents, Risa, good governance.
The recitation of our district mission, values, and priorities. So our motto is a district of passion and purpose. Our mission is a diverse community founded in trust and transparency, commits to empower all students to fulfill lifelong potential through inspiring learning experiences. Our vision is to inspire, innovate, and excel. Our values are leadership, character, commitment, service, and learning. We have 4 priorities. All graduates will be college and our career or military ready, a high-performing and engaged workforce, highly satisfied students, parents, and community, and efficient district and campus operations.
Now we will have the board recitation of district belief statements.
We believe all students have the capacity to learn and excel, and we believe a safe, secure, and supportive environment is paramount to learning.
We believe in living our core values of leadership, character, commitment, service, and learning. We believe engaging, interactive, and authentic teaching creates empowered, inspired learners prepared for our changing world.
We believe technology is a relevant tool that enhances learning in and beyond the classroom. We believe in professional learning community that fosters collaboration for continuous improvement.
We believe transparent, clear, and timely communication among all is critical to success, and we believe measures of success go beyond standardized testing.
And we believe public education is defined by the local community with limited state involvement.
Now we will have the Vice President's overview of good governance indicators and board member ethics.
So each month we try to highlight one of our good governance indicators and one of our ethical standards. And as a member of the board, we shall promote the best interests of the district as a whole, and to that end shall adhere to the following ethical standards. And this month is our student-centered focus. And so we will be continuously guided by what is best for all students of the district. In our good governance, we have 10 good governance that we follow, and one of them is the board and superintendent team regularly checks expectations and assesses board superintendent manager operations. And we have an annual team building activity that we always do, and we have reports from that team building. We have written plans that we do as well for our continuing ed.
Thank you. Dr. Gibson, recognition of student representatives for the month.
Thank you, President Westbrook, and thank you, trustees, for always starting our board meetings with the pledge and with our alignment to our mission, vision, value, and beliefs. Tonight, we're honored to have Samantha Maddox, a 12th grader from Clemens High School, and Haley Eichenhorst, a 12th grader from Steele High School, Byron P. Steele High School, as our student representatives of the month. And as they make their way down to meet their administrator at the podium, I'll just say that Sammy and Haley were chosen because of their being the epitome of dynamic leader, self-motivated, skilled communicator, service-oriented, and future-ready are traits of a graduate. So welcome, Sammy and Haley. And we can go ahead and give them a round of applause just for being here.
Good evening, Dr. Gibson, President Westbrook, and members of the board. It is my privilege to introduce to you Samuel Clemens High School Student of the Month, Samantha Maddox. Samantha is representing the Technology Student Association. Samantha is accompanied this evening by her mom and dad, Melissa and George Maddox. Please stand and be recognized. Michelle Hendrick and Andra Stewart are the TSA sponsors who are also in attendance this evening. Please stand and be recognized. Samantha is a fantastic young woman who has made positive contributions through her involvement in various Samuel Clemens organizations. Aside from being the TSA co-president, varsity tennis co-captain, Pi Club, and National Honor Society member, Samantha has also served her community through her work with Special Olympics and the flood cleanup in McAllen, Texas. Her leadership and service are second only to her work in the classroom. Samantha is a National Hispanic Scholar, ranked number 11 in her graduating class of over 500 with a GPA of 105.3889.
Samantha plans to attend Brigham Young University to study mechanical engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to present to you Samantha Maddox.
As Ms. Gonzalez said, my name is Sammy Maddox, and I'm representing the Clemens Technology Student Association tonight. Thank you, President Westbrook, Dr. Gibson, and members of the board. I'm honored to address you all tonight. I've had the privilege of being in the SCUCISD for 8 years. My father was in the military, so I had the opportunity to live in Mississippi, Japan, Illinois, and Schertz. Being part of this district has helped me develop academically and has prepared me for the future. I have participated in various clubs and activities over the course of my time here in Schertz. These include the Technology Student Association, National Honor Society, and varsity tennis. I have been in the Technology Student Association for 3 years now and am currently one of its co-presidents. TSA's membership includes more than 250,000 middle and high school students across the United States. TSA members work on competitive events, attend competitions at the regional, state, and national levels, and learn how to apply leadership skills. This year we had 5 TSA members advance to nationals, with many others placing at state. TSA has given me the opportunity to expand my knowledge and love for engineering. I have been able to become a better leader and student through having more responsibilities and interacting with members of the club. I have taken STEM classes for the past 4 years, which have broadened my knowledge and understanding of what engineers do and the many different fields of engineering. These classes have helped me master the traits of a graduate. I have become a skilled communicator as I have presented in front of my classes. I have become a dynamic leader by collaborating with others on group projects. I have become self-motivated by staying focused on my work and creating a plan each time I have a design challenge. I have become service-oriented by volunteering with the National Honor Society, which has taught me the value and importance of service. I have become future-ready by learning skills and concepts that will help me in my pursuit of earning a degree in mechanical engineering from Brigham Young University. In taking 4 years of STEM classes, I have been exposed to computer-aided design and Inventor, which are software programs that are important to multiple engineering fields. I have learned how to use the engineering design process to find problems, develop solutions to them, and improve existing solutions. Doing numerous engineering design challenges has made me a more analytical thinker in how I approach my problems and has made me constantly want to improve existing products. I've also had the privilege of using the new STEM lab that was built last year. Thank you so much for the STEM lab. It has given me and so many other students the equipment and workspace to help us succeed. I appreciate the hard work you put in to make sure that students have the best experience in the SCUC district as I have. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak tonight, and thank you for all you do.
Good evening, Dr. Gibson, President Westbrook, and distinguished members of the board. It's my honor tonight to introduce Haley Eichenhorst as the student representative for Steele High School. She's joined tonight by her parents, David and Deborah Eichenhorst, and her FCCLA sponsor, Jana Mahoney. Haley has been attending SCUCISD schools since 2006. She's a dedicated student leader and a model portrait of an SCUC graduate. She's actively involved in FCCLA as a local, regional, and state officer, HOSA as a certified medical assistant, student council as a member, DASH officer and president, a class of 2019 officer, member of NHS, and Floral Club. She does assure me she sleeps a few minutes here and there. Haley will be attending Texas Tech University in the fall with over $40,000 in scholarships this year and majoring in nutrition on the pre-professional pathway. After obtaining her undergrad degree, Haley will be attending medical school and studying to become a physician. Ladies and gentlemen, I am very proud to present Haley Eichenhorst.
Good evening, Good evening, Dr. Gibson, President Westbrook, and members of the board. My name is Haley Eichenhorst, and I'm a senior at Steele High School. Throughout my last 4 years, I've held multiple leadership positions in several clubs and organizations, such as Student Council as a president, a Class of 2019 officer, a HOSA member and certified medical assisting intern, and a 2-year member of the National Honor Society, just to name a few. My most rewarding positions, however, have been those held in FCCLA. FCCLA stands for Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, a student-led, nonprofit vocational organization with family as its main focus, which provides its members with opportunities for personal growth and leadership development through national programs that promote community service, physical wellness, personal growth, star event competitions, leadership trainings, and workshops to teach etiquette, proper communication, and public speaking skills. Through FCCLA, I've had the opportunity to develop my leadership skills, prepare for my future, network with students across the nation, and earn $19,000 in FCCLA scholarships. This past year, and my 3rd year as an officer, I had the privilege of serving Texas FCCLA as the State Vice President of Achievement, where I represented Texas at the FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Atlanta, Georgia, volunteered and promoted family and consumer sciences at the State Fair of Texas, promoted literacy to homeless children in the Dallas area, and advocated to our state legislators for career and technical education at the Texas State Capitol, in addition to putting on local, regional, and state leadership conferences. While my life has been changed by FCCLA, which equipped me with the tools necessary to be successful as a servant leader and young adult, none of my success would have been possible without the help and support of my advisor, Jana Mahoney, and SCUCISD. SCUCISD has supported Steele FCCLA by helping offset costs for competitions and conferences where our chapter competes in events such as Chapter in Review, Career Investigation, and Promote and Publicize FCCLA, provided us with a platform for advocacy within our community, and graciously allowed us to grow our chapter and promote our organization by hosting countless community service events, such as the Mother-Son event, Daddy-Daughter Dance, Fall Festival, and Smile Week, through where we partnered with Student Council and raised almost $10,000 for the Child Advocates of San Antonio. Our chapter has also had numerous star event national champions, regional officers, scholarship recipients, and even a project on nutrition and wellness be presented to the United States Food and Drug Administration by FCCLA national officers in Washington, D.C. Steele High School and students of family and consumer science classes are truly grateful to have the opportunity to be a part of a career and technology student organization that works so hard to encourage the success of its members and be students of a district who provides opportunities for all students to excel, not only in academics, but extra and co-curricular activities as well. As a graduating senior and a 13-year student of this district, I can truly say that FCCLA and SCUCISD have changed my life. Thank you.
Dr. Limley, we will now have the student recognition.
Thank you. Good evening, President Westbrook, Dr. Gibson, and members of the board. Tonight, we're here to recognize SCUCISD students who have achieved outstanding distinction in athletics, fine arts, and career and technical education. We applaud their commitment and dedication to perform in these areas and bring excellence to our district. Students, parents, and friends, we thank you for coming tonight for this chance to recognize academic and athletic excellence. And for our students, congratulations on your accomplishments and best luck on your bright future. We're going to start off tonight with the CTE FCCLA, which we just heard about. Congratulations to the following students who have completed the state competition and have qualified to compete in the FCCLA National Leadership Conference in Anaheim, California, June 30th through July 4th. From Steele High School, we have Samantha Huffman, Reagan Fleury, Sasha Garcia, Emily Rapmund, Jaden White, and Wyatt Folsom. Come on down. Hello, great job. Yep. Hey, hello, how are you? Great job. Great job. Hey, great job. If you want to take a picture, please come on up. Continuing with our CTE FCCLA from Clemens High School, Sarah Murphy, Sydney Spurlock, and Caitlin Wesolowski. Okay, continuing on with CTE and TSA. Congratulations to the following students who have completed the state competition and have qualified to compete at the TSA National Conference in National Harbor, Maryland. From Clemens High School, we have Thomas Peters, Lucas Davis, Chris Campbell, and Joy Dyer. For CTE HOSA, congratulations to the following students who have competed at the HOSA state competition and have qualified to compete at the HOSA national competition June 19th through 22nd in fabulous Orlando, Florida. From Steele High School, we have Abigail Placher and Malia Breen. Sorry, Malia. Okay, in CTE DECA, congratulations to the following students who have competed at the DECA state competition and qualified to compete in the national competition, again in fabulous Orlando, Florida, April 27th through 30th in 2019. No? Okay. They went anyway. Okay, so now we're going to move on to CTE FFA. Congratulations to the following students. Yes? FFA? Okay, thank you. Qualified for the FFA state competition from Clemens. We have Summer Morganroth, Caitlin Morganroth, Camden Mooney, Sage Chain, Abigail Oliver, Kylie Thornton, Paisley Roberts, Courtney Hargis, Allison Busby Meek, Canyon Tillman, Chloe Cheney, Jenna Norton, Lainey Farrell, Cassidy Sasser, and Brooke Bimslager. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Good job, you guys. Nice work. Okay, we're moving over into the athletic arena now. For soccer, congratulations to the following Clemens girls soccer player for earning academic All-State through the Texas Association of Soccer Coaches. Camden Mooney, Ashton Dilworth, Angelica Morales, Carla Velasquez, Savannah Hook, and Maya Sheridan. We also need to congratulate Ms. Maya Sheridan of Clemens for being named a Texas Association of Soccer Coaches Senior Showcase All-Star Participant. So congratulations, Maya.
Had one show up. Jesse Mejia. Yeah.
The following Clemens boys soccer players earned academic All-State through the Texas High School Coaches Association. Tad Rosenberg, Nicholas Bowman, and Nico Mora. Good job, guys. Congratulations. Okay, moving over to baseball now. Congratulations to Steel baseball players Victoria Maldonado, Ethan Anderson, and Derek Banks for earning All-American, All-State through the Texas High School Coaches Association. Ethan and Derek also earned Academic All-State through the Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association. And congratulations to the Clemens baseball players, Hunter Hewlett for earning Academic All-State First Team, and Trenton Sager for earning Academic All-State Second Team through the Texas High School Coaches Association. Okay, we're moving over to track now. Congratulations to Michelle Vernaza, Ariana Trevino, Kayla Ty, and Kelly Lopez of Clemens Track for earning Academic All-State through the Texas Girls Coaches Association. And congratulations to Jesse Mejia of Steel Track for earning First Team Academic All-State through the Texas High School Coaches Association. And also from Steel, we have Matthew Madre of Steel Track for qualifying for the state track meet. Okay, in softball, we have congratulations to the Clemens softball players, Madison Horn for earning THSCA Academic All-State Elite Team, and Hannah Kincaid for earning the THSCA All-State Honorable Mention Team. All right, we're moving over into tennis now. Congratulations to the following Clemens tennis players. Dylan Peters earned the THSCA Academic All-State second team. Myri Deal earned the THSCA Academic All-State first team. And Sammy Maddox earning the THSCA Academic All-State Elite team. Okay, and our last group tonight is going to be basketball. Congratulations to the Steel boys basketball team for their advancement to the state tournament. Team members are Chris Benson, CJ Bledsoe, Jackson Bias, Brandon Clark, Elijah Comater, Jalen Farmer, Aaron General, Eli McGurk, Nick Moore, Devin Morgan, Christian O'Bannon, Courtney Perryman, Devon Ryder, Quincy Shepard, Aquari Smith, Joshua Watkins, Tanner Davis, Langston Love, and Quabana Davis.
There you go. You got your back.
They're just too darn tall. I need to see everybody's face. There we go. I think I got this. Ready? Hold on. It's for Coach. Good.
Langston Quabana, wait. We also have congratulations to Langston Love for earning TABC All-State, UIL State, All-Tournament, and Quabana Davis for earning Academic All-State. So let's have those guys back up here. Langston and Quabana. This concludes our student recognition for the evening.
As part of the Church-Civilo Universal City Community Partnership, we would like to acknowledge our numerous key partners and collaborators who are active contributors in helping the district achieve its mission and goals. Tonight, we salute partners who help make the district a destination school district. From Church YMCA, we welcome Mr. Freddie Degollado, District Vice President. Church YMCA partners with SCUC through its after-school care program, but we also want to recognize its programs in a community that build healthy spirit, mind, and body for Soul for All. Welcome, Mr. Degollado.
Welcome. So thank you, President Westbrook, Dr. Gibson, Board of Trustees, and I think I made everybody leave, I think. So, well, thank you for having us this evening, and appreciate the collaborations we've had with the YMCA. As you guys know, we do the after-school program, we do the summer day camp programs. We've collaborated with the Auditorium, both Clemens and Steele both swim there. It's been a fantastic collaboration. So many other things we're doing with the district, and we're doing some adaptive swim programs. We're doing a number of different activities. We have over 600 school district employees now that are members of the Y. And this Y here now has over 15,000 individuals that are a member of this Y. We're about to open the Y in Cibolo, as you guys know, and I know they're taking minutes here, so I'm just going to say summer of 2019. I'm not going to give a specific date on that. We're working on that. But again, we certainly appreciate all the time and effort that the district works with us here at the Y, and we've enjoyed that collaboration, and we certainly appreciate all your efforts. So anything we can do for you, please just let us know. So thanks so much.
We also continue our recognition of our district advisory committees this evening. We welcome members of our Great Conversations team, a group that has been in existence since 2015. They have been tireless advocates to support public education and greater community engagement. This group also makes it a point to participate in the legislative process, reaching out to state lawmakers to ensure public education receives the attention, respect, and finance it deserves. Representing the Great Conversations team tonight are Bridget Gorham, teacher at Allison Steele Enhanced Learning Center, Frida Varela, teacher at Watts Elementary School, and Kelly Rowe, an accountant in our finance department.
Good evening, Dr. Gibson, school board members, and community members. My name is Bridget Gorham, a teacher at Allison Steele and a proud member of the Great Conversations team. Wow, what a year it's been. I'd like to start by thanking Dr. Gibson. You have given us a voice for ourselves and a voice for our students. The support you show us is inspiring, and we couldn't do this without you. The Great Conversations team has made incredible strides and invaluable connections this year. From Schertz to Austin, we've left our mark on the public education community by having those great conversations. We have been to the Capitol to advocate for our students, bringing their voices to the Texas lawmakers. Continuing with Vollmer's message, we've made it our mission to educate schools and communities about what is happening in Austin and how it could affect our students. Community engagement is paramount to the success of our schools and our students now and in the future. We hope to spread the word on the responsibilities thrust upon educators, including the layers upon layers of added duties that were not part of the education mission, even 5 to 10 years ago, much less 50 years ago. Program with Corbett, Clemens, and Allison Steele. Having a strong bond in our education community leads to a better future for our kids and the community itself. So tying those two entities together only builds upon that message. We are spreading the word, and we will not falter in our goals. Thank you.
Thank you for the Great Conversations team. I think at the beginning of this year, every biennial, I think they play a even more and critical role in the advocacy of the needs for this district. And so this year they've done a wonderful job. They've taken off some of their own vacation time to travel up to Austin to advocate on behalf of the district and the other teachers and the employees. So kudos, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you very much. Next, we will have Veronica Goldhorn, and Dr. Limley for the recognition of principal representatives.
Good evening, members of the board, President Westbrook, and Superintendent Dr. Gibson. Tonight, I would like to honor our elementary principal, Cindy Ward, principal at Rose Garden Elementary. If you'll please come forward. Cindy Ward is, as I said, a principal at Rose Garden Elementary, and she has served 24 years in education and 8 years here in SCUC. A fun fact about Cindy Ward is that she was able to see the Pacific Ocean from San Francisco and the Atlantic Ocean at the Outer Banks while working with schools to build positive culture. Of course she would be doing that. And I present to you Cindy Ward.
I would like to say a quick, so when they decided she was going to open up Rose Garden, I think Dr. Gibson and Dr. Edwards had high praise for her because it does take a special skill set to open up a new school. And everything I've heard is you've done an amazing job, so congratulations.
Good evening again, Dr. Gibson, President Westbrook, and members of the board. I would like to introduce our secondary principal who is attending this month's board meeting, and that is Mr. Vernon Simmons. He's the principal at Dobie Junior High. He's been in education for 20 years, 12 of which have been here in SCUCISD. A fun fact about Mr. Simmons, he enjoys visiting Wyoming during the summer to work on a farm as a form of therapy from the busy school year. Vernon Simmons.
Great job, sir. Dr. Damon Edwards, recognition of the Aspiring Leader Academy participants.
Thank you, President Westbrook, Dr. Gibson, and members of the board. It's our honor to present to you tonight and recognize our Aspiring Leader Academy participants who have completed the academy and have met the attendance criteria of missing no more than one class. A little bit about the academy. The purpose was to support the development of strong educational leadership and prepare educators for leadership positions in SCUCISD. To develop and enhance educational leadership that will improve student learning and overall organizational effectiveness. This aligns with the areas of our core values of leadership, character, commitment, service, and learning, the belief of professional learning community culture that fosters collaboration for continuous improvement, and a safe and supportive environment is paramount to learning. Before we introduce the recipients, what we wanted to share with you is we asked for feedback after each of the sessions, and just want to share 4 brief questions with you. One of them was, what were your key learning outcomes as a result of your participation in the Aspiring Leader Academy? And one of the responses was to be a leader even if you don't have the title. Stay positive, advocate for public school education and funding. And this was a real unique year for the Academy because they were able to hear in the spring, able to hear a lot about the legislative session and learn a lot about school finance and funding and legislation and things like that. So I think they would agree that it was a real interesting time to be a part of the Aspiring Leader Academy. One of the other questions is how did the Aspiring Leader Academy help to shape your perspective of instructional leadership and school district operations? And the response was, because of the in-depth discussion at our tables and with district leaders, I have a better understanding of the circumstances leading up to hard decisions regarding programming. Another question was, how has your participation in the Aspiring Leader Academy impacted your role as a leader on your campus or in your department? says, I've realized the importance of my voice on campus. As a result of ALA, I began a teacher committee on campus, and we have worked through critical foundation components that are often forgotten about on our campus. In August, we will be presenting a teacher boot camp to the staff. We have worked under the guidance of our campus administration, but they have given us complete trust to build what is needed. We are excited to emphasize some of the most basic but critical pieces to the campus operations. Our goals for next year will involve diving deeper into pedagogical pieces of teaching. And then the last one we asked, just give us a quote of the overall experience of aspiring leader. And oftentimes we use these in next year's recruiting. And that was to please provide a short statement or a quote about Aspiring Leader Academy. Participating in the Aspiring Leader Academy opened my eyes to every piece of the district puzzle. We often overlook the numbers that are being gathered without our knowledge about growth and predictions for our futures. The SCUC puzzle is not built from edges in. The view on the box is constantly changing, and leaders have to build a puzzle that is designed for the future of our students and not an iconic scene pictured on a box. I think you can tell by those words. We had a great group. I want to thank Dr. Limley, Ms. Kovacs, and Ms. Goldhorn for their participation as well, and as well as most of the people to my right for also coming in and providing learning experiences, and of course, Dr. Gibson. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce those that are here. Was it Letitia? Okay. We had one that was here, but it is her husband's birthday, so she exited, and we thought that was a very good move on her part. So I'd like to start off with introducing from Byron Steele High School, Carol Allen. Also from Byron P. Steele High School, Rosa Armillo. From our technical service department, somebody you know well, Stephen Barnwell. Also from Byron P. Steele, Jose Barrera. Jonathan Basha, also from Byron P. Steele High School. Carol. Right back here, and then we'll come back up there and take the picture. Allison Fannin, Byron P. Steele High School. Elizabeth Garza, Cibolo Valley Elementary. Mark Harris, Samuel Clemens High School. Amanda Heaviside from Corbett Junior High. Rachel Hink from Cibolo Valley Elementary. Linda Jansen from Samuel Clemens High School. Catherine Perez from Rose Garden Elementary. Deonza Sly from Cibolo Valley Elementary. And as we mentioned before, Leticia Torres from Schertz Elementary was here and had to leave. Also, those completing the requirements but unable to attend were Stephen Piles from Sipple Elementary and Sherman Walker from Byron P. Steele High School. Okay. This works. You want to get up on the wall?
Now we will have the recognition of leaders of Innovative Teaching Academy participants presented by Dr. Carla Burkholder.
Thank you, President Westbrook, Dr. Gibson, and members of the board. Tonight we're recognizing outstanding teacher leaders who successfully completed the Leaders of Innovative Teaching Academy. These outstanding teachers truly embrace our belief that technology is a relevant tool that enhances learning in and beyond the classroom. They are eager to make an impact with their students, so much so that they took their personal time to stay after school once a month to learn new innovative teaching techniques and grow professionally. From Clemens High School, Christian Mariner. From Clemens High School, Nicole Rosa Saunders. From Steele High School, Allison Fannin. From Wilder Intermediate, Sarah Reagan. From Green Valley, Chandra Sale. From Schertz Elementary, Martha Hernandez. From Sipple Elementary, Jennifer Irvin. And finally, from Sipple Elementary, Lori Kolojeski.
I was like, yay, am I going to be Colo? Colo, yeah, that's it.
That's it. Y'all, yeah, sorry. I know, sorry. My bad. Oh my God. Oh, I'm not sorry.
You can be making your way back to the star.
Come on.
Okay. Well, they have a sense of humor. Yeah. In order to provide consistency and fairness to all individuals, public comments will be heard in accordance with Board Policy BED Local and procedures outlined in Administrative Regulation BED. Comments should be limited to topics such as policies, curriculum, and facilities. Any direct criticism of a specific employee will not be heard during public comments and should be considered separately as provided in Board Policy. In this context, individuals are cautioned to not identify any employee by name or by any combination of words or descriptions which could identify the employee to another individual. Public comments will be limited to individuals who sign up to participate in the public comment portion of the meeting before the board meeting is called to order. Delegations of more than 5 persons shall appoint one person to present their views. An individual who signs up to participate in the public comment portion of the meeting may not relinquish their time to another individual. No public comment shall exceed 5 minutes. To ensure compliance with time limitations, a yellow card will be held up by the board secretary at 4 minutes, and a red card will be held up at 5 minutes. Thank you. Our first speaker, Christy Yao. Yes, ma'am.
I have an 8-year-old, Addison, currently in the dual language program. This program has been the most beneficial opportunity she has had within the district. She's not only been given a good academic foundation of the Spanish language, she's made friends in kindergarten that have remained in her life for 4 years. This program and its teachers facilitate these relationships with children she may not otherwise have met, children who come from different cultural and linguistic backgrounds. These students do their day-to-day work together, create projects together, and play together. I believe my child is a more skilled, compassionate girl because of the dual language program. After discussions with administrators who are in charge of making the decision to end the two-way program, I've been told that there are two reasons for the justification: to save money and to focus on test performance for English language learners. I asked how much money would be saved by removing English speakers from the program, and I was not given an amount. It would be nice for that information to be transparent to all members of the public before a decision like this is made. Regarding performance, the dual language teachers from Cibolo Valley Elementary presented convincing evidence at the last board meeting that students in the two-way program, both English and Spanish learners, outperform their cohorts who are not in the program, and that the scores will likely go down if the program eliminates the native English speakers and only teaches English learners. This is consistent with decades of educational research. Thomas and Collier found that the two-way dual language programs are the most effective way to educate language learners, as students from both groups can help each other in acquiring their second language. Language learning increases academic scores in other areas as well. If our goal is to increase scores, the dual language program certainly shouldn't be taken away from anyone. When we remove English speakers from the program because it is not a requirement, when we remove English speakers because it solves our problems of space and funding, we cannot say that we are putting our best efforts into our children's education. When we eliminate the direct classroom interaction between native Spanish and native English speakers, we are not allowing them to share ideas, cultures, or ways of thinking. When we don't value the language enough to let others learn it, we're communicating that it's not important enough to invest in. As a taxpayer, I appreciate a lean district and finding a way to minimize cost. But in our attempt to be lean, we have to be careful that we are not malnourished. The dual language program welcomes students willing to put forth the effort and helps them achieve something that distinguishes them. When they apply to the most selective colleges and universities, no admissions representative is going to say, that student comes from a lean district. They're going to say that bilingual and biliterate student has the skills and global awareness to be an asset to our institution. And that will be what we want to reflect on this district. You all want to do what is best for our community and our students. We're all here to tell you how important this program is. Do not eliminate it. We have an opportunity in this difficult time to say that we care about language, we care about saving valuable programs, and we care about our students.
Dr. Irene Petrisky.
Good evening, Dr. Gibson, President Westbrook, and members of the school board. First, I entirely agree with what she had just said. Everything she said about it. I was stunned when I heard that the program was going to be eliminated. I have worked many years in the multilingual education department throughout my career, pretty much as an educator. And that is, again, everything that she addressed is right on point. And I agree, we do need to reconsider that. I do want to thank, as an aside, a program, an initiative that the district has supported, Dr. Gibson and school board members. It has worked, and the program I am speaking is to participation of students in extracurricular programs, because that is seen as a way of keeping students in school. Over a week ago, the Samuel Clemens High School band had their band banquet. Over 500, right at 530 people participated, attended. I want to thank Mrs. Leticia Seaver and Mr. Robert Westbrook for attending. And as you saw, it was very full. They have outgrown the facility in New Braunfels. Now they're in the hunt for a new facility. The program has grown immensely under that initiative and that support. Mrs. Seaver and Mr. Westbrook were able to witness scholarships being given to students that are about to graduate to go on into college. Not only that, they were also awarded scholarships, the kids that are not graduating yet, to attend enrichment programs such as band camps, leadership camps, and that is provided with the money earned by the band boosters. So I thank Ms. Leticia Seaver and Mr. Robert Westbrook for attending and seeing, what an impact the Fine Arts program has had. The program has grown considerably, have more students ever enrolled than when SCUCISD only had one high school. That's how huge the program has gotten. I'd also like to thank Dr. Gibson for having attended UIL Concert Sight Reading Competition. And let me tell you, the UIL judges were pleasantly stunned to see a superintendent in attendance. And they made note of that. Word got out outside of our community. Other band directors approached Robert and said, wow, your superintendent attends that. And he said he's also there for marching band contests too. So anyway, that was wonderful. I'd also like to, you had the academy of teachers in our school district. I'd like to brag on my husband, Robert Petrisky, band director. He is completing his 39th year as a band director. 24 out of those 39 years has been here in SCUCISD. Sometimes I've heard at board meetings that, teachers who've taught a long time, they get burned out. Robert works just as hard now as he was as a rookie teacher. Still loves what he does and will be beginning his 40th year of teaching next year. So I would like, my wish is to have teachers stay and become, we need more Roberts to stay and invest in our school district, but we as a school district invest in them. Right now we have, as an example, Alamo Heights High School. They invest in their veteran teachers. And you do have veteran teachers that earn more than their administrators, and administrators don't mind it. Why? Because number one, veteran teachers know their content area. They know how to handle their classroom. And research also shows that students that are taught by veteran teachers score higher on their SATs and ACT exams. So I ask of you to continue to support teachers. That way they stay here. We need more veterans. Thank you.
Mark Wilson used to like to say that it was he used to put the A in STEM and make it STEAM to emphasize the importance of art, the art and education. So I think I still remember that from those days. So thank you very much. Next we have Michelle Gardner.
First and foremost, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I hope to provide a unique perspective as to why preserving the two-way dual language model is far more critical than you have currently heard thus far. To provide some background into my experience, I have a bachelor's degree in microbiology and a master's in business administration. I have worked at a bioscience company in Austin, a pharmaceutical discovery company in the Woodlands, and I am currently working at MD Anderson Cancer Center as a member of their preclinical research program. One of the most eye-opening realizations I have experienced since working in a STEM profession is that American monolinguals are the minorities in a lot, if not most, of these professions. I've spoken to many a scientist, biochemical engineer, veterinarian, behaviorist, and so forth. And they have all had opportunities to work in other countries in addition to the US, because most of them are from foreign countries and bilingual or multilingual. Once a scientist, and let me tell you, once a scientist from a different country obtains funding and has his or her own lab established in a company, it is rare that they recruit additional staff, such as research assistants or postdocs, who are not from the same country as they are. Emphasizing STEM may get our future generations to be on the same academic level, but it's the additional skill set, such as being bilingual, that opens up opportunities for them on a global scale, not just a local or national scale. I know what you're thinking. This is based on one person's experience, but I have researched STEM profession statistics from the Department of Labor, as well as other peer-reviewed articles, and there is significant evidence to support my personal experience. According to the Department of Labor, foreign-born STEM workers have dramatically increased, almost doubling since 1990, and I can almost imagine how much it has increased since then. I'm not saying that solely being bilingual, bicultural, biliterate replaces solid education, but it is becoming obvious that linguistic and cultural fluencies enhances one's human capital, or the measure of the economic value of a person's skill set. More and more, at equal technical skills, a bilingual individual would be chosen over a monolingual person. The increased value placed on STEM degrees, unfortunately, has resulted in a decrease in value for other majors. This inconsistency is massively important for educators, lawmakers, parents, and employers to realize. Fortune 500 companies such as Google and business magnates such as Steve Jobs have emphasized and predicted the need for soft skills as well as cognitive skills to increase a person's employability. The main reason is that bilinguals display key qualities and unique transversal competencies that are becoming increasingly important in a more internationally integrated job market. Traits such as multitasking abilities, better adaptability, increased cultural fluency, and more opportunities are key traits that bilinguals possess that may exceed their monolingual counterparts. Emphasizing foreign languages and other social sciences is still relevant, critical even, in the 21st century. As the Washington Post points out, even Steve Jobs infamously insisted STEM wouldn't be enough. The future will require experts in, I quote, the human, cultural, and social as well as the computational, end quote. As you know, dual language education promises to give students access to key 21st century skills, namely bilingualism, biliteracy, and global awareness. And because of the expected benefits, an increasing number of schools are adopting this model, while we are thinking to end the program here. So I wanted to say a lot more, but it's hard to say in 5 minutes. But two things that I want to emphasize is one of my sons has the opportunity to be in the dual language program. My youngest one will not. When the decision was made to end the program, these children, all children, the whole next generation, was never given a voice, was never given an opportunity. So a few of us here have come as a single voice, maybe English, maybe Spanish, but we stand here before you today as one community. And I have tried to teach my kids, if they believe in doing what's right or wrong, or what's best for them or others, they can choose to advocate for their beliefs, even if the opportunity has been denied or the door has closed. I want them to know that they can fight for whatever they believe. And until they are older, I stand before you ready to take up the flag to save the dual language program on their behalf and provide them with the opportunities they need and deserve. Thank you.
Craig Ward.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, Dr. Gibson. President Westbrook, Board of Education. I come on a little bit lighter topic tonight, so I first need to know in the audience here who are my baseball fans. I figured there was a few up here. I know there's one to my left here. I come tonight to voice my support for Samuel Clemens athletics and the improvement of the facilities at Samuel Clemens High School. When you walk across the street, you're greeted by an amazing campus, inside and out. I recently had the chance to view the new renovated school, and it's quite impressive. It's a great reflection on what we provide our students. Myself, I've been in the SCUCISD district for the last 11 years, ever since moving here from Oklahoma. I have a graduate of Samuel Clemens. My daughter is now a Aggie at Texas A&M University. There we go, Aggie support. And my son is a junior at Samuel Clemens High School as well. As you go across the district, I've been to every baseball stadium. I've been to every football stadium. Love watching athletics for Samuel Clemens and the other schools. And I've been a coach for the last 15 years of youth baseball. So I've seen a lot of facilities, a lot of improvements throughout the district. However, at Samuel Clemens, the baseball facilities have not been updated in a very, very long time. I've only been a part of Samuel Clemens High School for the last 6 years, but from everything that I have gathered, that facility is roughly 50 years old and really has not had any significant improvements since it was built. So I'm here not to criticize that. I'm here to look at what are the best options to help fund short-term and long-term goals for the baseball facility. I think that that's one place on the campus right now that stands out as a sore spot on the campus. If you've been to a game, you really know that there's probably really one good seat, and that's up in the press box, and I only know that because I have spent the last 2 years filming the high school games. So other than that, if you're in the stadium, if you're in the stands, it's very difficult to see the field and to see the athletes that are on display. We're very blessed to have great baseball programs in Schertz-Cibolo. We have coaches that are both coaches at the school as well as in the off-season of the youth athletes. So I encourage the board and everyone here tonight to support Samuel Clemens as we see the best ways to improve the facilities for all the future students. Thank you.
Next, we will have the superintendent's update.
Yeah, President Westbrook and others, I have 4 items to cover in 5 minutes, and then I'll see if anybody has any questions. The first item is a legislative update, and one bit of good news from last night, I believe, or maybe the night before, is that Senate Bill 29 died in the House of Representatives. So that was the bill that we were all watching that was going to forbid that school districts and other governmental organizations have a voice in Austin. It actually made it through the Senate. So in other words, we couldn't hire a lobbyist to go speak for us. Neither could the Music Educator Association, or neither could any associates out there. But the House wisely killed it, maybe last night, maybe the night before. I can't remember. Earlier this week, and not that the only thing that matters is funding, but it's almost like, you know, the other stuff now starts to kind of take a back seat when you start thinking about no school finance bill. And I'll just try to kind of keep it at the last known facts. Everything now is kind of in behind closed doors. They're not public meetings anymore. They're committee meetings, and they meet whenever they want to and wherever they want to, and that's the way the rules are, and that's okay. But it's hard for us to really know what's going on. So earlier this week, everything I'm about to say, by the way, then was not part of a publicly filmed meeting, and so it's just Greg Gibson's speculation on what I could glean from limited information from a lot of different sources. But earlier this week on Monday, it appeared to me that there was a lot of optimism on something imminently coming out of the conference committee between the House and the Senate. And there was even, meetings that were going to be scheduled on Tuesday night, and it sounded like maybe even, press conferences and things like that. And then something happened that day, and it's just gone kind of quiet and underground since then. And really, I think it would be irresponsible for me to sit here and try to guess or speculate or whatever. But just, I guess, the salient points that we need to remember. It appears that both the House and the Senate are at agreement on $9 billion to put into school funding. That's what we reported on May the 7th, and that's still the number. If that number starts coming down for any reason, property tax relief or unfunded mandates or whatever, then the funding allowed for school districts goes down. And so we have to watch that big number and just see what happens to that. Then the House continues to stay firm, as far as I understand it, on school districts. Whatever that $9 billion becomes, that school districts should have the latitude to control or work with 75% of that. So in other words, give this locally elected group up here control of 75% of whatever the injection into public education is. That's critical, and we've just heard that that's kind of under the gun right now. And so, probably the worst case scenario is that nothing happens. Probably the next worst case scenario is that a bunch of money gets put into the system, but there's a requirement for every single dollar, and the districts get no discretion whatsoever. And then under that scenario, the state looks like it just helped public education, but no control was given to the needs for the people that are sitting up here. So that's kind of where we are. We're just so everybody knows in the community, if they do not go into special session, and I've only heard special session mentioned with a snicker or a laugh after it until today. And then I heard it mentioned maybe for reals, as my daughter would say. And so that was a little bit scary. If it does not go into special session, they have to be adjourned next Monday night, which is a holiday, interestingly enough. And so we have a meeting scheduled for the board next Tuesday night to debrief what happens next Monday. That kind of links to item number item number C on here, and I'll roll those together. So we just so everybody knows, the reason that we brought on here, one of the areas of focus from the board for me for this coming year was to prepare for the bond and or possible tax ratification election. And we just need to put that on the agenda in case that's something that's needed over the next 2 years as a relief valve. We've heard that a part of the Senate bill would not allow districts to even consider tax ratification elections unless you have already considered it. And the board has already considered it. They've already passed it as an area of focus, and we have it on the agenda tonight. And we just wanted to demonstrate that. That's item C. And then going back now to B, on the health insurance, I just want to make sure a memo went out to staff this week, and I just want to we put it in the board update, and I wanted the trustees to have a copy of it. And then just real quickly on the back of it, also Ms. Cannon provided a few additional talking points. I know everybody can read, and you probably already saw the memo. But I want to just make sure that everybody knows, as Ms. Cannon has said to me and Mr. Pruski several times, it looks like our claim rate for this year, it will be around 93%, meaning that of the 100% is the money that we've brought in. We're going to wind up spending about 93% of it. Last year, that was 73%. So, obviously 93% is worse than 73% if you're spending money. But then she likes to remind us that if we were fully insured, that 100% of the money would go away. We wouldn't even get that 7%. It would all go to the insurance company, whether it was good or bad. And I just think that's a point. And then maybe just to remind everybody that we do have reinsurance or stop-loss insurance. And so that's how we could never go over 100%. So we're never going to go over 100%. So, it's not as great of a year as we had hoped for, but we're still doing our best to hold the line with no rate increase this year. And I don't know any other organization out there. I mean, I know I voted the other day at TRS Active Care for an 8% increase to Active Care. So I think the average right now is an 8 to 12% increase.
Dr. Gibson, any understanding as to why the rate is so much higher this year than last year?
Yeah, it's just claims. I mean, that more expensive claims. That's at the end of the day, it's either more claims or claims of higher cost. So if everybody's good, I just wanted to make sure y'all had that document.
I've got one question. We're going to leave our claims, our funding at the same level, we won't be able to sustain another 20% increase next year. Chance we'd be into the refund, we will be into our reserve next year. Is there any indication that we're going to get that back down to a more historic level? I mean, when you have year-over-year increase just in the cost of health care, whether it be insurance or not, running 4 or 5%, we're going to blow through that 7% pretty quick. It wouldn't take a whole lot to do that. I know we have the reinsurance that would keep us from going over 1 year, but when you hit reinsurance any given year, when you go out for price quotes, they're going to did you use your reinsurance, and they're going to get you with a higher quote for that. So the anticipation has got to be that if we're going 20% 1 year, you could have a flat year and inflation is going to get you. So I'd like to know if there's any anticipation that that's the thing is going to go down, or the number is going to change between now and end of the year. I mean, you do have funny months in a given year. You can have 1 month or 2 months that have very high claims.
This whole thing, if it's ever a bad business deal for the district for more than a year or two, we'll get out of it. It's just that simple. This year is.
And we feel like for another year we can hold the premiums at the level that they currently are and still be okay for 1 more year. And we push back our open enrollment just to be able to get more data, which is pretty typical of what other people do with a September 1 benefits enrollment calendar. So, and we also have some other tools in the toolbox that we haven't used yet. Our pharmaceuticals, we're looking at the data right now, and if we might decide to pull the pharmaceuticals out of the major health, and it could be cheaper for not only our employees, but it then reflects that into the data with the medical.
I would think we probably want to use every tool we got in that toolbox at this point in time, because 20%.
Correct.
Is, I mean, you may not have flashing red lights, but there's certainly something's going on there that we need to be mindful of. And I'd say we use every tool we got in the toolbox to get this back down. I mean, if we can reduce our pharmaceutical costs, that'd be the thing to do. The way, unless you use every tool in the toolbox, you cannot have an established baseline and say, here is our true actual cost if you haven't used everything you got. When you have that, then you can say, okay, here's our baseline, here's what we can run on. Then you can say, okay, we've done everything we can do. And then if he still goes up by that, then at least everything has been used, and we know for sure what our cost is.
And if we're fully insured, then we have no control at all. We're at the mercy of
I realize that. I'm just saying that without increasing the premiums, if we went through this another year, we would go through our stop loss, we'd go through our reserve, and then we would be in an increased situation the following year.
We need to really monitor it this next year to see what those claims are, and to make a determination on what to do for the following year.
Right, and that's just prudent anyway. So I'm just throwing that out there. Okay.
So, Linda, in a roundabout way, I guess we're saying thank you and congratulations for keeping $250,000 in SCUC instead of a healthcare company. And then just real quickly on Priority 3 update, you have in your hands a quick summary, and I won't read to you, and we'll put this out. By the way, I think we're going to blog this and put this out tomorrow, community-wide, or Friday, rather. But we do have the results of the parent satisfaction survey, and by the way, we just have these big aggregate numbers right now. So the district mean was 4.03 on a 5-point scale for parents and 3.63 on a 5-point scale for students. And then there's some interesting little caveats in there about how much choice was on top box, and then what were the top comments, and then what were the comments that had opportunities for improvement. So I just wanted you all to kind of have an advanced. A lot of that's about to float out into the community. I wanted you to have an advanced copy of it. And then on the back is a copy of the community survey that the board has looked at, and we're going to deploy it, I think, in July or August. And it's just going to go up on the district's website, and we're going to start blowing information out, trying to encourage community members to take the community survey. Wanted you to have a copy of it.
Will the public and or the board have greater access to this information? So, for example, it says approximately 27% strongly agree. 3 out of every 10 responses to items were strongly agree. Top box, strongly agree to what? There's like, how many different questions did they have? So they agree to.
Yeah, this is just an executive summary so that before we start doing community-wide communication, the board has a copy of it. We can give you as much information as you want. You're the president of the board.
All right. Well, it's not just me. It's it's the entire board. I mean,
Well,
it's
you
just
can ask for it on behalf of the entire board, and it's a big, thick report. We'll be happy to share it with the board.
all right. Thank you. Any other questions? Any correspondence? None. Next, we will have a review of report on board advocacy, a review of monthly board member participants and involvement at high-level rounding, district and community government events, and so on. Basically, our advocacy efforts from the board. David Pivotal.
Bless you. I've done my watchdog thing this month at Green Valley Elementary School, and I will be doing that tomorrow, probably for the last time. But I've enjoyed that. It's been a great experience for me, having gone through one class from kindergarten through fourth grade, and started with another class in kindergarten, and now they're in first grade, and we'll see what happens next year. But anyway, also attended the Commitment to Excellence Awards, which really were wonderful. So good to see all the teachers being recognized and the community members who were recognized, and also the retiring educators who were recognized. And you know, I've been around here a long time, so I knew a bunch of those folks and hired a lot of them too when I was an administrator in the district. So it was good to see that. I attended, again today, attended that first grade award ceremony at Green Valley Elementary School. They were all proud to show their leadership ability, and heard some interesting takes on the 6 effective leadership qualities. And it's good to hear those every now and then, and it's always interesting to hear 6 or 7-year-olds take on those things. And hope to attend the National Junior Honor Society induction at Corbett Junior High School on Thursday night, and then have had a couple of called board meetings this month. One on the 7th about the budget, and then again, as Dr. Gibson said, we'll have one next week, next Tuesday, following the legislative session, and also, of course, will affect the budget. And have a award ceremony at Wilder Junior High School, Wilder Intermediate School, coming up pretty soon. So I'll be attending that as well. That's pretty much it. Thank you.
I had the opportunity to attend a couple of banquets, the band banquet at Clemens as well as the FFA banquet. I wanted to say thanks to the booster programs that support those kids and raise the monies to give those kids scholarships, because they do definitely give back quite a bit of money to those kids who are going on. And those kids have worked really hard all year long, so I wanted to say thanks to them. Had a chance to attend the district commitment to excellence as well, and it was fantastic to see. And I don't even know how we're able to just narrow it down to one teacher at a school, just because there are so many teachers that do a great job here in our district. Made it to Steele's Decision Day. That was a lot of fun. I love seeing the enthusiasm that the kids have for their future, not only to college commitment, but as well as military commitment, career commitment. It was a lot of fun to see that. And had the opportunity to go to some of the senior exit interviews at Steele, at Allison Steele, and at Clemens, and it is refreshing to hear what those kids have to say, that the advice that they give, and that the things that they feel we do well and that they would like to see changed. It was good to hear them talk about that as well. And that's about it.
I also was at the Allison Steele and the Byron Steele exit interviews, and we were just talking about exit surveys, and I'll tell you, I know that's just a number on a piece of paper, but to hear it come from their mouth is an awesome thing. And if you follow our Ed on any social media, he even posted some where you can see what they said, and it was awesome. I enjoy doing those every year, and I thank Mr. Westbrook for getting that started last year. Also attended dance banquet, watched them give scholarships as well. Again, those booster clubs, I know right now as we speak at the Clemens, we lost some kids that were going to get honored because the Clemens spring game is happening, and the athletic boosters awarding scholarships right now as we speak as well to students. And so we just appreciate those booster clubs and parents so much that step in and help assist our students. And then I went to the Clemens Decision Day, and we had to move it indoors. They did this year due to the rain, and it was just awesome to see it in the new event center, and just all those kids committing to military as well as vocational schools and colleges as well.
I had the opportunity to support the school fundraiser at the Tri-County Chamber Golf Tournament. It was an obligation, but I suffered through it. I also got to go to the Allison Steele senior exit interviews and Clemens senior exit interviews, and I agree. It's great to have these surveys, but it's really valuable to hear it straight from them. And as seniors, they can be honest. Anytime you're doing an exit survey, you can be more honest than you might have been in other situations. I, too, went to the called board meeting. We had a CIS 25th anniversary reception. Communities and Schools is celebrating 25 years in South Central Texas, and we had a CIS reception at Roy Richards' house, and we brought in some people so they could learn about the value that Communities and Schools brings and share with them opportunities to support it. And Dr. Gibson was there talking highly about the program and how they partner together. I went to the Northeast Partnership and Tri-County Chamber Luncheon and as well as the Chamber Luncheon today. And also the Cibolo Valley FFA banquet last week, and that was very nice. They handed out a lot of scholarships there and a lot of recognition.
Thank you. I was able to go to the change of command at the Clemens Air Force ROTC 82nd Wing. Hadn't been to one of those ever, so I decided I would go to that one this time around and got to see a lot of very outstanding men and women. They're now getting ready to graduate because they're going to college, so young men and women. But to see the commitment of the ROTC program, what they put into it, what they get out of it, the leadership qualities that they are gathering over the years, being in ROTC, every one of the seniors that is in the ROTC program are going on to college. Many of them are going on to academies. So to think that we have put together two excellent ROTC programs, I saw the one at Clemens, I think it goes to show the community support, the Air Force support, the commander, the sergeants that were over, the chief and the senior. I think it's very important to continue that program. It definitely shows a leadership quality, and which is one of the things we really push in our district is cultivation of our leadership. So I really see that going forward. That program continues to grow every single year. I'm not sure what we're going to do with them in the future years as schools continue to grow, and we're looking for more and more leaders. So to see the change of command, I had kind of forgotten being out of the Air Force for a while, the pomp and circumstance that goes into that. They were very polished. They knew exactly what they were doing, and did get a little rowdy at one point in time, but the colonel gave us said, okay, this is a professional event. Let's have a little professionalism, and they came right in the line. So as being teenagers, you kind of expect that, but once they got reminded of where they were, they came right back in the line, so I really appreciate that. So I'd like to continue to, hopefully we continue to support the ROTC program, and it was a great group of kids, so I really appreciate going to that. Thank you.
Nothing for Gary Inman. So right around this time, I think one of the major issues as board president is to sort of be a cheerleader for the district and a support for the administration, attend as many events as possible. And so after Easter, they really pick up. And so I'm just going to name some events. For the first time ever, we've received a MASBA scholarship, and Letitia Seaver and I presented that scholarship. What was his name? Letitia? Joey Guetta presented that scholarship. Tri-County Golf, we had a great time. Tri-County Mixer. HLR with Dr. Gibson and Dr. Edwards, I believe, at Slaughter. Church Civil Universal Commitment to Excellence Award. We had the Texas Grassroots School Board Rally up in Austin, given by the Central School Board Association. Clemens Top 20 Breakfast with Letitia. The band concert ceremony. Cibolo FFA with Jerry and Letitia. Dobie Honors Night. We had another Tri-County Luncheon. Still Senior Exit Interviews. Clemens Senior Exit Interviews, and then the Still Honors Night, which was last night. All were well-run events. Excellent. And I would like to give kudos to Amy for the Senior Still Exit Interviews. She's, as a teacher and a presenter, she did an excellent job and got the utmost out of students. I'm still in amazement how well she did. And then Letitia did an equally excellent job at Clemens, both educators, so they were able to get a lot out of the students. And I think we learned a lot from them. Attended that with Jerry Perkins also. So thank you very much. And to the staff, Dr. Gibson, Damon Edwards for allowing us, Janice Cervantes, Missy Sosa for allowing us to sort of interact with the students and sort of paving the way. So thank you very much. Great job. Typically we have a recess, but I think there's only like 5 actual items. There's 2 discussion items, a consent agenda, and 2 more items before we get to the closed session. So unless there's a need for a recess.
Yeah, I promised our student representative she'd be able to leave at the break. So.
Oh. Yeah.
So we need a break.
5 minutes. Let's take a 5-minute break. Let's reconvene at 7:50. 7:50. Thank you very much. Board is now reconvened. It is 7:51. Report and discussion items. We have Wayne Pruski and J.D. Mosley report May 2019 construction update.
Good evening, Dr. Gibson, President Westbrook, and members of the board. So first item I have tonight for us is our construction report. The projects on the 2016 bond are the Clemens High School additions and renovations, as well as the band hall additions and renovations, technology, transportation. The fifth one up there on the slide is the kitchen renovation. I'll just make a note there that that's not bond, that is actually child nutrition, but it's part of the same report. I'm going to highlight a few items and not talk about everything here, but the thing I like to highlight here is we're 91% complete at Clemens, and so we're rocking along. Ongoing activities right now is just interior renovations of Area C. This is our old auditorium and practice gym areas. The A-wing renovation is recently completed, and then that B-wing renovation starting this June, and then completion date for that B-wing renovation is December of 2019. This is just a reminder of the map of kind of the direction that Clemens is headed and the areas that have been touched. First inside pictures, this is our B-wing corridor headed towards the C-wing. That middle picture there, those three doors, that leads you into the old auditorium area and old auxiliary gym area. So that's what you're looking at there. Part of the B-wing renovation will be the new classrooms, computer labs, art rooms, etc. And those are the ones that will start this summer. So right now there's not anything to see there other than the nice completed corridor headed down that way. This is the same area, but on the second floor. So this is our corridor up on the second floor, again headed towards the C-wing. This wing, when we renovate it, it'll have more labs, storage, IDF room, etc. In that area. This is a look from high up, down on the courtyard. So if you look straight back towards the back of the picture, that is that C-wing that we were talking about. And down towards the right, you can see the mud slab going in from the addition for the band hall. A little bit closer view of the C-wing. So the brighter panels right there in the middle, that's our C-wing. Behind those walls, you would find HOSA, culinary arts, etc. And a reminder that if you're looking at that area, that was our old auxiliary gym. Looking inside that C-wing, again, that old auxiliary gym site, you're looking at culinary arts, lifetime nutrition and wellness classrooms, computer labs, and then the host classrooms. The renovated A-wing, I just mentioned a while ago, this is recently completed. Furniture has been delivered, and so we've got some nice new classroom spaces there, and as well as some office spaces. The renovated mall space, and so this is just looking at some of the walls there. Moving forward this summer, we'll be looking at new terrazzo flooring, as well as some what's called large format tile along the walls. You've probably seen this because you can see it from the outside. This is the new fence going down Elbel with the rock columns. It's very nice. The band hall additions and renovations. So the colored areas there, you can see all the areas that are going to be renovated, as well as the addition. The addition is kind of a pop-out on the right-hand side of your screen, and you can see that the additions are towards the bottom half of that enlarged view. Looking from up in the air, again, you're kind of looking at on the left top is the auditorium. The gray pad down in the middle is where the new storage building will be for our band hall additions and renovations, and then towards the right is the band hall where we're moving forward on all the renovations in that area. So our storage area, outdoor building, that's a 1,600 square feet of storage, and then as well as an additional 2,200 square feet addition to the band area. Again, another look at the mud slab down there. We have already started the framework for the suspended slab for that building as well. Looking inside, most of those pictures are looking inside the band area, so you can see it doesn't look much like the band area any longer. Lots of demo going on in there. The top left picture is a picture of the steel being erected for the storage building. If you looked at it by the end of the day, you'd see that about 90% of that steel is already actually up at the end of the day. Again, just kind of a highlight of the areas being touched for the band hall renovation additions. The blue is the phase 1, yellow phase 2. Again, the phase 1 will be finished in October, so the blue areas, in August, and then the yellow areas will be finishing up in October. So schedule there, just kind of recapping what I just told you. For technology, any questions on Clemens before I move through the other projects?
I heard a couple of things. Understanding the auditorium, we had a leak. Was that
I would say that's possible, yes, sir.
I'm not surprised it happens. Every time you have construction of that magnitude, you're going to have a few things pop out.
Yes, sir.
So, and was there something with the orchestra net that either didn't get delivered or wasn't there or wasn't available or something?
It's something that we're looking into currently, trying to find something just to make sure our students are safe when that orchestra pit's open.
Okay, I heard those. I'm kind of like, okay. So always bring it up. Okay, thanks.
Okay, so moving into the technology, I'll focus at the bottom real quick. 31% complete on the technology, so phase 1 is complete. Phase 2 planned to begin in 2 weeks. And so this is our classroom technology, our panel replacement. The phase 2 campuses include Clemens, Green Valley, Watts, and Dobie. Any questions technology before I move on? Okay, the next piece here is the kitchen renovation. Again, a reminder, this is not a bond-funded project. This is a kitchen child nutrition-funded project. We're 33% complete on this project. You can see the two areas of the kitchen that are actually being touched. The area in purplish blue is where the new cooler and freezer have already been installed. And then the area for yellow is phase 1B, and that begins after our students are gone in a couple of weeks. Again, so the 1A is the demo of the old dining hall, and then the new cooler and freezer. And then 1B is the other side of the kitchen is demoing the old cooler and freezer. A couple of pictures of the kitchen. So on the left there, you see our new cooler and freezer over there, as well as the MEP finish out in the utility room for that same area. So that concludes bond 16, as well as the child nutrition. We also have bond projects going on in 2013. So just a reminder, we did the first half of Pascal and Malish East last year. And then, so this summer we'll kick off the Pascal, second phase of Pascal to be completed this July, as well as security vestibules at the 4 campuses listed there to kind of catch them up with what we did a few years back with the other campuses for security vestibules. And that's our construction.
JD,
Yes,
that's the
ma'am.
only HVAC we're doing this summer is finishing up Pascal?
Finishing up Pascal, yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, Wattswater Jordan finished up last summer, just doing punch items and stuff like that, throughout the school year.
Because all the others, we've used all the bond, those were all the bond projects
Yes,
for the
ma'am.
HVAC.
Yes,
Okay.
I got one. We had a contract we were trying to get let early in the year to support the technology improvement. How did that come out? Did we get those contracts figured out?
The AV contract?
Yes.
That's going forward. Dr. Burkholder, you want to touch on that?
I know we were looking at only one firm on a tight timeline to get the stuff in, and they were underbid like crazy. I know we were going to try and go back to them and negotiate that, and if not, we were going to go with the next one. How did that work out?
Yes, we were able to, with Matt's help, we were able to get the details worked out, and they are the contractor that will be completing this project for us this summer.
How's that going so far?
It's going very well with the coordination planning meetings, and we'll kick it off in a couple of weeks.
Okay, sounds good. I knew there was concern that we're giving Dr. Gibson the ability, or I guess Matt the ability to go with somebody else, so we got the details worked out then. Okay, sounds good. I hadn't heard anything about it, so I thought I'd ask. Okay, thanks.
We actually just received their finalized bonds, payment and performance bond because of the magnitude of the project, and their insurance, so we're covered if any risk happens.
Anything else?
Any questions for Mr. Moses? Sorry about any questions. Next, we will have SCUC expenditure projection plan presented by J.D. Mosley.
So good evening again. Our two items for discussion and report are mine tonight. So the item you have in front of you this evening for discussion is our expenditure projection plan, our EPP. Just kind of as a reminder, this is a 10-year plan related to our 10-year facility master plan. It is a multi-departmental plan that describes maintenance and equipment needs across the district that are beyond our normal departmental budgets. By and large, all of the things that are on the plan are replacements and repairs of existing facilities and equipment in the district. Current estimated total for the 1920 fiscal year would be about $9.5 million. And then, if approved, these projects would be completed before July 31st of 2020. The administrative costs for this, the projected cost for these projects, again, is about $9.5 million. Funding may be provided through the 1920 budget amendment from the district fund balance. I believe everybody's got a document in front of them, and that is our EPP. So on one side, it looks like this. It is our what we call our overview page. It's just a kind of a big, broad view. You can see down the left side all of our departments, and then going across the top are the years. And then you can kind of see the totals of those as you go across the bottom. If you flip that page over, it's a little bit more detailed. Kind of gives you an idea of kind of some of the things that fall underneath those. Basically set up the same way with just a little bit more detail for that plan.
So once we know better about what happens in Austin, and this is just a discussion I'm going to have, but what Wayne has asked the group to do is to bring back a $2 million scenario approximately and a $5 million scenario of that $9 for the board to look at in June. If the board, based on the information that we hear, is ready to go ahead and take that step. I'll just say what I said on May the 7th. If you move the 9 to the right, now it's 14. And so, I think any amount that you start trying to peck away at that a little bit would be helpful. The other thing that you told me about today is that you're looking at, are there items on this that maybe could go into the 2021 bond?
Yes, we're considering taking some of the long-term items or long life items on there, such as roofing, and perhaps moving roofing off of EPP, because a roofing plan could be 20 to 25 to 30 years, the life of a roof, and taking that off of the EPP side and putting that on the facility master plan side, and maybe feathering that out through multiple bonds on the facility master plan. So that, along with future HVACs. As you know, HVACs are already on bond programs, so we might just move them all over and do the same thing with the same concept as the roof, and then any other items that may come up onto that as well.
Are any of those in a time crunch like we should be doing this summer?
The short answer to that is there is one, and it's at Clemens, and we are investigating that roof and to see what we can do for that. So that's already kind of in a queue. We've been working on it over the last 2 weeks to address that. It's in a plan, but it was not included into the scope of work. And now that we are closing up to that, we would like to investigate adding to that scope, so to speak. We don't know if we're going to add it to the contract or if we're going to go out separate and everything like that. So we're looking at all of those plans there. There's a part of Clemens roofing there that we're investigating on the beer gym.
Oh, yes. How about any of the EPP items?
Timeline?
Yep. There's one that we've talked about already for safety and security of the kids, and that's located at Steele. That's the athletic turf that was installed the year after Steele opened.
Right.
So it's on borrowed time. That's on kind of a forefront to be as a consideration.
We
for the
have
team.
referees telling us they're not going to referee on that field if we don't fix it. I mean, so I'll go ahead and start saying stuff that's real. So like we're beyond life on that field.
So my question was, is we still need to wait until after we find out about House Bill 3 of where we're going with
That's
things.
the
So that
strategy.
should be a discussion on our May 28th. So we're going to have that for.
That's good, and I appreciate that. We'll put it on May 28th. Thank you. That's good. That's even quicker.
Are we talking about the football field at Steel?
Yes,
sir.
I thought we redid that carpet.
No, sir.
We didn't?
Clemens was recently done. The steel field was grass the first year, then we came in and put the turf down.
We
in
talked
year 2.
about it in here 2 years ago when we first rolled out the EPP, but we hadn't done anything with that list since then. That list has been pushed.
Okay.
Well, I think the concluding factor was that steel facility had not been used for varsity games. Junior varsity and 9th grade and that sort of thing, which is a lot of use, but there is a little less wear and tear.
Right, that's a good point. That's why we felt like we've lasted these last 2 years.
It would last a little bit longer, but yeah, I can see where it's, what we're going on 13 years, yeah.
Ed,
Let me say, we know that a few times. I mean, there's holes in the turf. So I assume at some level, I guess, to where it's a safety hazard. I mean, you just can't have kids playing on it at some point, twisted ankles or what have you. I would think, right? I mean, so we're not there yet. I mean, I don't know if
we are.
Okay.
We're there now. Yeah.
What's the
Pushed it as far as we could.
What's the individual cost in the recarpeting?
We've got an estimate right now of about $600,000.
Okay.
Of course, that's assuming that we don't find something underneath.
Is what you have to consider.
So we're not anticipating that at this time, but until you get the carpet off, that's
we know what the base looks like at this point.
Yes, sir.
So it could be what, 600,000 up to what, $1 million?
The last one we did the Clemens, we actually budgeted $1 million for Clemens when we did it. Luckily, we came through and there was a little bit of repair underneath, but not a lot. So.
Right. Okay. Sorry.
No, go for it.
Refresh my memory. I was soon looking at I realize this is 8 years out. We got a 26-27 on EPB. There's a $22.9 million facility. What's that?
It's roofing.
Roofing? Okay,
Yes,
that's
sir.
kind of what I thought. So I bet that's got to be Steel and Clemens, isn't it?
No, actually, there's Dobie in there. There's actually a lot of campuses that will actually be touched by that. It's not a single project. There's several projects in there.
It's just that's when the lifespan of those roofs all hits.
They're all starting to hit about that time.
That's the roofing certificate, I guess, expiration date, so to speak, and you start looking at that. And so instead of having that big number there, Mr. Finn, that's what I was talking about, the feathering. We might look at doing some of those dollars in those bonds to bring those forward and really do what we need to do and then investigate the after.
That's kind of what I thought it was. I'm just going to ask and make sure I remember. Okay, thank you.
It's kind of a crazy question. I may regret bringing this up. I know over the last couple of years we've had several incidences of hail damage where we see just about every residential house getting a new roof. I assume X% of that is paid by insurance. Have we benefited from that at all, or does that even apply to schools? Or
no,
what type of roofs we have?
When that comes through, we get up and we inspect everything to make sure, but we've come through it without damage. So nothing that we've had to actually use insurance to come through and make repairs on anything. So our buildings can take a little bit more abuse than a typical residential roof can. So luckily we've come through them really well. So.
What type of items are included in the instruction items? 350, 100, 100, 100. What? Can you give me an example? Just.
I can give you a little bit of information. This is the terrible one. Sorry. We are looking at our dyslexia programs at pretty good depth this next year because of the new dyslexia handbook. So one of the items in that number is looking at a new updated dyslexia program. We've also identified that there may be some instructional needs beyond what IMA is providing. As we look at curriculum documents and we update those, there may be some things that we need to add. So we've sort of added a placeholder for that amount. And there was one other item. Do you remember what it was? I have to pull it up. I'm sorry. RTI intervention support systems, particularly for intermediate and middle school, and some for high school as well. We have a lot of options for our elementary interventions, but we don't have a lot of options for our upper grades for intervention. So we're considering what might be out there that we could use for those students for reading and math intervention.
All right. I know it all comes together to, to better the student, but it just seems $350, $100 in comparison to the rest of the technology and other items seems a little low, but I know you've done your homework.
We actually just started working on these numbers within the last couple of weeks because instruction is a new item on EPP. So it may
the
be adjusted
instructional
as we go
materials
along.
allotment that's not part of this, and then there is instruction in the budget. We just had some items that weren't in either one of those, and we didn't have a place to put it, so we decided to put it here. So it's a little bit misleading in the sense that it looks like it's more
Not as much,
anemic
but
to
you
the
have-
others, but there's other funding sources.
When you have IMA and...
Yeah, yes.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. Well, next we have the consent agenda. Usually Dr. Gibson.
As our protocol has been, these items were delineated as consent items or proof to appear on the consent item. Of course, the board can pull any item that they want to hear individually. So tonight, this is the consent agenda presented to the board. Mr. Westbrook.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve.
Hold on. Oh, no,
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, yes.
Okay. That the board approve the consent agenda, pages 25 through, it looks like 72.
I second.
Do we have any discussion? Would anybody like to remove any item?
I'd like to pull G.
So I'll amend my motion with the exception of item G.
Seconded with the item G removed.
So the motion is to approve all items A through F. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda A through F, raise your right hand. Motion passes. Now we will have discussion on item G. I think that's Kelly Kovacs and Matt Rivera. 66.
Was there a question in particular?
Oh, we really hadn't discussed the item because last time we didn't have the materials yet on the list because we had to go back for our RFP, I believe. My only question I have is I know what K through 4 teachers wanted, the F&P, well, I got it, botanist vanilla, but I'm assuming we broke that down because when you look at what was chosen, I just want to make sure they're getting what was voted for. And I know it went back and went through things, but that's not the name that's on there. So,
Yes, that's exactly right. So we went through the RFP process with a subcommittee of the original K4 instructional materials team, and the RFP resulted in the same request that the K4 teachers had also voted for. So it is Fountas and Pinnell that meets those needs. And if I can just say that the committee was very excited about this resource. They said things like, we think this will allow us to become better teachers, allow us to go from good to great, and that they really appreciated that they were given the opportunity to consider something that was off list. Particularly, they said Fountas and Pinnell, because they are focused on reading every year, they have a product that really meets the new TEKS, and they feel like it was the most appropriate for their needs. So we were pleased that the RFP was the same result as what the K4 teachers voted for.
So this was originally off list, and this is what the teachers decided they wanted, even though it wasn't on the original list?
Well, you might want to explain what off list means. I
Oh,
can
right.
say it, but I'll let you.
Okay.
So the state puts reviews many different items for review for instructional materials, and Not every company submits their items to the state.
Okay.
However, instructional materials allotment allows us to consider items that are not on the state list, as long as we go through the competitive bid process, which is why we selected them through the RFP.
Okay, yeah. That makes me feel better. That's probably what Amy's saying, the same thing. It makes me feel better. This is what the teachers want. This is what teachers feel comfortable, and this is what teachers feel like their students need. So that makes me feel a lot better that we're going to give them what they need. So I agree with that. Okay, thanks.
These materials, Mr. Finley, they also had to meet the standards set by the state as far as meeting the TEKS.
That's correct.
So submit all the criteria.
No, and I was going to say, and I do that one page said digital, so digital license, I know, but they're getting the hands-on.
They are, absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, we're looking at...
I just want to clarify that for others in case they saw that.
We're purchasing kind of the teacher's manual, if you will, as well as all of the options that are available, including classroom libraries and additional reading materials for guided reading. It's actually a very robust system that we're ordering for them for K-4 reading.
Well, thank you for your diligence. When I was reading it, so it was originally sent out to 333 vendors?
I'll have
Roughly.
to defer to
I'm just
Matt
saying
on
it was...
Yes, sir. Those were all the book publishers who expressed interest in bidding on these items. They didn't all meet the qualifications, though. They were pretty stringent, although plenty did.
Okay. And so the evaluation criteria includes price, product quality, delivery, and references. So when it comes to product quality, how do you determine product quality?
Did it meet the scope of work or the standards that were expressed in the request for proposals? And what are the references for people who have been using that product? Fortunately, we've had a committee that actually knew what they were looking at when they got the product.
Yeah. Okay. So is there any, you do any historical background to sort of see if using this book has improved the reading outcomes for third grade reading?
They actually have to include that as part of their proposal. What's their history? What's the background? What's the research? So it's all part of that. As we reviewed all of the products, we reviewed that information as well, and it's part of the scoring.
And so these books will be used next year?
Yes, they'll be in place starting in August.
So a year or two from now, we should expect third grade reading to improve?
We sure hope so. Hope is not a strategy, but we are trying to put into all of our teachers' hands the materials that they need to meet the new TEKS.
All right.
And
No, go for it. Well, one other question, only because it was sent to me via text. Why do you buy books if they're not always used? I know you addressed it last meeting. I think it was addressed. But what percentage of the teachers do you think? I know it's tough, and I know you're in front of your boss. But are we talking to all K through 4 teachers?
I'm not worried about my boss. I think at the end of the day, our hope is to always purchase materials that teachers are going to use. But we're not there every day to say, are you putting that into the hands of our students? However, the curriculum and materials that we're referencing in our focus planning guides do point to the district purchased materials and say, this is a good resource to use with your students. And so that plus training and helping our teachers to know what is in those materials and how they can help students and the research behind it is our plan to make sure that our teachers are using those.
And I would say the focus on our PLC concept where teachers aren't just teaching individually but teaching as a group in their group planning and coming up with a common focus is also part of looking at our focus planning guides, our critical content, pulling all that together so we are working as it's not my class, your class. We're doing the same thing. That's part of the guaranteed and viable curriculum, as well as that all students are having that same opportunity with the same curriculum, with the same resources, through a collaborative process of we've gotten together and we know what we're going to teach. We know how we're going to teach it. Now there is some defined autonomy in the classroom because each classroom is different, but we have a collective approach going into the classroom with that curriculum and with that quality instruction to ensure that all of our kids are having the same opportunity and exposure to those instructional materials and to the instruction itself. The materials are one thing, the teacher matters. So collaborative teaching matters even more. Sorry about my voice.
No, I totally agree. It's just that I think we've all been to school board meetings. Third grade reading level is a key indicator for success moving forward. And so when you pick this K through 4 reading material, and then you sort of indicate that in the future or historically this material has been used to increase reading, I'm just hopeful that it increases third grade reading level for our students. That's basically it.
Well, and one of the things in our priorities now has also been, rather than in our last strategic plan, second grade was a focus for us because that's also obviously an indicator. You can't start at the third grade. Our priority, in priority 1 now, we also are looking at K through 2 leading up into 3, and that's a specific goal for us, and so it has to start there to move on up. As you said, second to third grade is a critical component. A lot of research goes into that, but it starts earlier.
Thank you very much. Any further questions?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing that you just touched on. You can't wait till third grade to figure out if our kids are having a problem. It starts way back in pre-K and kindergarten. So the nice thing is this is you have a program that goes from K through 4, because we'll even catch kids in fourth grade that may be grade level behind. We can still catch them up in the fourth grade. But yeah, you've got to start as early as possible, and with it being a unified program, they're going to continue to build on the foundation of the previous year and keep right on going. So we may not see it for a couple of 3 years because it's going to take time to catch the kids up that are maybe in first grade now. They're now in new curriculum. But that third year, we should see, hopefully, where the program improves, because that's going to be those kids that are going to be in kindergarten coming in next year, first grade next year, and we should start to see our third grade test scores go up then. We should see it every year, but that's when you're probably going to get your maximum bang, is probably when those kids have been in the program all 4 years to get the third grade test out. So hopefully, is there any indication that in schools that have gone to that, if that holds on? I'm throwing it out there, and I didn't even bother to ask the question. Is there any indication that when schools have gone to this program, K through 4, that by the time they get to that first testing interval, that they've have improved from previous years?
I wouldn't want to speculate. I would really need to look into that more to answer it adequately. However, with the TEKS changing, all of our curriculum and our instructional materials are changing all at the same time. So I would expect we'll see some dramatic changes potentially in the near future.
Yeah, with constant TEKS changes, trying to gel to the wall.
Exactly, and you guys all know the state of legislation today may change how we test as well. So we'll see.
As they say, nothing is safe while the legislature's in session.
When we get this approved, how soon will the PD start to come in? Like that's also a concern too, is that the teachers get the training right away.
Our coordinators for ELAR have already started to look at training when they can start this summer already.
Okay.
So they'll be coming in.
I also want to say thank you for the process. You know, I can tell by the slides that were sent that y'all did your diligence and you took a good look at it and gave us a lot of good information.
It was truly a team effort.
Mr. Westbrook, I will have to just add this one comment. So over the from last year to this year, we did see an increase both in third grade reading and fourth grade reading. And we believe these updated resources are going to continue to help us with that.
Thank you, sir. Can I get a motion? May I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Trustees approve the proposal for the kinder through fourth grade English Language Arts reading instructional materials from Greenwood Publishing, LLC, doing business as Heinemann, for a not to exceed amount of $2,100,000 as per solicitation 19-020S. Funding shall be provided under the instructional materials allotment.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Page 73. Request for board approval. Amy Dreisbeck.
Yes, we are. I'm taking this over because of a nomination for Robert Westbrook for our Region 20 Position D seat on the TASB Board of Directors. The nominations are now open for that position, for that seat on the TASB Board of Directors, which TASB is the School Board Association for the state of Texas. The position is currently held by Mr. Westbrook, and he has indicated that he will be seeking re-election And the term of this position is for 3 years, beginning at the close of 2019 annual TASB convention. That will be in September and expires after the convention in 2022. And nominations must be received in the TASB headquarters no later than Monday, July 1st. So we've added this to the agenda. Do you have a motion?
I move that the Board of Trustees nominate Robert M. Westbrook for the ESC Region 20, Position D seat on the TASB Board of Directors.
Second.
Any discussion?
I think it's a grand idea that Robert obviously has the time. I think he's done an excellent job in the last 3 years, and since obviously I don't have the time, but that's good. I'm glad somebody does. So I think Robert would make an excellent continued addition to the TASB board. At least we'll have somebody on the board that understands our individual circumstances. So I appreciate Robert taking the time to do it.
Thank you.
I would just have one question. Why?
Yeah. You want the serious answer or the joking answer?
God bless you.
Yeah, Mr. Westbrook, I'll just bring up, I texted you. Good thing I guess you're not looking at your text. But Sylvester Vasquez from Southwest ISD had texted earlier, and I guess Flo Bernal, they had it on their agenda for tonight to nominate her for that position. But I told him that you were running, so he said that she would not run if you were running, since you're already in that position. So.
Well, I do appreciate it. It is a coveted spot. There are some benefits to the district, obviously some economic benefits. The potential to bring back a little bit sort of insider information is there. Then there's also, you do get to stay at the host hotel. Some of the other ones are not as important as opposed to the host. Some of those are not as important as just sort of the advocacy issue. We do sort of advocate on behalf of, there's something like 55 school districts in Region 20. And there's 4 of us, and we're supposed to advocate on behalf of all 55 school districts in this region. So it is important. And most of this region is sort of considered rural. But we do the best we can. And I think the bar has been set before me. Scott Harrod was leadership TASB. Then Gary Edmond was leadership TASB and was eventually the TASB president, Texas Association of School Board president for the entire state. And so now I'm on the board, and I do appreciate the opportunity to serve again.
Yeah, and I was saying, Mr. Pivotal kind of brought it up, but it's kind of like being a board member on steroids, and you do put a lot of extra time. So I certainly respect Mr. Westbrook for taking that on, and it does kind of take on a life of its own as well. But it does bring back a lot of benefits to this district. You can't necessarily see that SCUC gets its name out there quite a bit, and Robert's done a good job, and you may not want me to say this, but I'd love to see him run for TASB president someday, and I think he'd have a good opportunity to get that as well. And just the folks that you meet all across the state, and they definitely know who SCUC is because of that. So appreciate you taking the time to do it, Robert.
Thank you, sir.
Anybody else? I just want to say I'm in a lot of meetings with Robert through these last year and a half, and Robert is always putting his time in for here, but also when he has his TASB meetings, he calls in if we have a meeting. It takes a lot of time. People don't realize how much time being on the TASB Region 20 board is, and so I appreciate him wanting to do that again.
And the pay is what?
Zero.
Your time.
Well, you do get a service effort, you know what I'm saying? You do get a service revenue.
You get a plaque.
You get a plaque at the end of it, yes. You get a plaque.
Any other discussion? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Passes unanimously.
Linda Cannon was looking at me like, are you going to vote for yourself? Yeah. I'm like, yeah, if I don't vote for myself, who is?
And I guess, Robert, you want to explain the process from this point forward?
You're more familiar with it. I mean, so from this process forward is it depends really if I have a challenger or not. If I have a challenger come up anytime after December, from July 1 all the way to TASB meeting, roughly mid-August, we will be campaigning. And last go-round, I was campaigning against Victor Contreras, who is now the mayor of Marion. And it was extensive. We went to 90% of the board meetings that we could attend in a 2-month period of time. Dr. Gibson was extremely helpful. Amy was extremely helpful. Gary Emden was extremely helpful. We divided up the whole region and sort of contacted superintendents and board members and people in those areas to sort of get me on the board of directors. So if I get a challenger, I'll have to go through a similar effort, and I would rely on the whole board to sort of help me out, and I would appreciate it. If I don't get a challenger, then it's sort of home free. But as all politicians know, you're either running unopposed or running scared. So hopefully I'm running unopposed. But I think that sums it up. But it really depends on if I have a challenge or not. And I will be, I guess, come in August, the TASB meeting is when, even if I have to be interviewed by the TASB board of directors, I still have to be interviewed again, no matter if I'm the only one. And even then, if I have a challenger from the floor. So even if you go through the whole process, somebody from the floor can say, I just want to run against you, in which case I'm going to have like a 3-minute speech. And so I won't bring up any Game of Thrones references in my speech, though. That's what I can assure you. That's a reference from, but thank you very much.
Well, I remember the last time you did have a challenger, and I remember everybody in the convention talking about yours was one of the best speeches that was given at 3 minutes. You used all 3 minutes, and there he was just all day talking about.
Does anyone remember what the acronym was?
Did you hear what the gentleman from SCUC, Robert Westbrook?
Yes.
He was just you were the talk of the convention. So
every now and then, a blind squirrel can find a nut twice, So, but thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Last item. So last item on the agenda before executive session is the final step that TASB has the board take each time that we go through a policy audit. And just for the record, all of these policies are already been board adopted. All of these policies have already been posted. This reflects the entire audit and all local policies through Update 1012. And as crazy as it sounds, they actually send us a blue book. Some of you remember that in the mail. And it's about 5 inches thick now. And what TASB, and I believe their attorneys think that it's just, I think they put in here that it's a good way for the board to affirm the changes, is just under one motion now to repeal all previous policies and adopt all of these. And you now have a new policy manual, and the audit is over. I can't make it any more exciting than that.
May I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Trustees adopt the local policy contained within the reconstructed TASB localized policy manual as presented, effective this date, and repeal all previous policies.
A second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, so is there any changes to any of these policies?
No, this is just, there's no changes tonight. You've already approved every change that's done.
okay. It's just a clean slate reaffirmation of what we've already done.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Any further discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. 30 minutes. Dr. Gibson says the closed session may last approximately 30 minutes. The board will now adjourn in a closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code 551.074, authorization to deliberate the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear a complaint or to charge against an officer or employee. Thank you very much. The time is now 8:35. Board will now reconvene from closed session for action relative to items considered during closed session. The board may consider and take action on any of the following items. Linda Cannon, request for board action, employment of contractual personnel. Oh, the time is now 9:15. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. The positions on the employment list as presented in closed session are replacing positions for the 1920 school year.
Do I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move the Board of Trustees approve the list of term personnel for the 1920 school year as presented.
I second.
I think that's right.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Wait.
Let me pull that. Sorry. Scratch that. I was on the wrong page.
Page
Yeah.
101.
I move the Board of Trustees approve the employment list of contractual personnel for the 1819 and 1920 school years as presented. My mistake.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. All those in any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Linda Cannon, request for board action personnel term contract recommendation for school year 2019 and 20.
Yes, the requesting approval of the name on the list that was provided in closed session for a term contract for the 1920 school year.
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the list of term personnel for the 2019-2020 school year as presented in closed session.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Linda Cannon, request for board action, employment of Cibolo Valley Elementary School principal.
Yes, the position of the Cibolo Valley Elementary School principal is replacing a budget position for the 1920 school year as discussed in closed session.
I move that the Board of Trustees approve the employment of Cibolo Valley Elementary School principal for the 2019-2020 school year.
I second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously.
And Dr. Edwards, can you, what's the announcement timeline? Tomorrow morning. Okay. So, but tomorrow we'll have it posted on the district website. Okay.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jerry Perkins, review of the board monthly planning calendar and request for future discussion or action items.
Reminder that we have a call budget meeting on the 28th to review what comes out of legislation. Hopefully. On the 11th of June, there's another call board meeting, and on the 18th of June is our regular board meeting. There's a staff holiday on Memorial Day. Last day of school is Thursday, May 30th. Texas Tri-County Luncheon is on June 10th. Northeast Partnership on June 13th. The Chamber, Shirts, Cibolo, Selma is on June 17th. Allison Steele graduation Tuesday, June 4th at 6:30 p.m. Byron Steele graduation Thursday, June 6th at 7:30 p.m. Samuel Clemens graduation Friday, June 7th at 7:30 p.m. TASB SLI in San Antonio is the 13th through the 15th of June. And Priscilla reminded us the cutoff for registration. This Friday. Okay. And that's all I have.
Any requests for any future board items or
Yeah, I was just
information?
I apologize if I wasn't here when this was discussed, but has the administration and/or the board made a final decision on the dual language program, or is there some type of timeline to get to that point? Yea or nay?
No, it's been made, and it was communicated, and the teachers have they're being moved to the new classroom as soon as the year is over. Yeah, that's just our standing meeting date for a workshop, and I asked that maybe we hold it just in case either special session or something weird happens. So just okay.
It doesn't have to be on the board agenda next, but I know earlier we talked about the surveys, and I know that you said we could get that material, so I just asked that, push that to the board update.
Okay, that's good. And so there's layers of depth for that, and so yeah, we can put that in the board update. Thank you for that clarification. That was on my list, so thank you.
If there's nothing further, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We adjourn. It's 9:20. Thank you very much.